Well, Runestones or Hearthstone's new virtual currency, and they hit the game yesterday, and I wanted to do a report on how they've been received by the community and how well they're working in the game. Here it is. They suck. That's it. You can end the video. You don't need any more. Runestones aren't good. They are not useful. Nobody wanted them. Nobody asked for them, and they have problems. If you want to hear more, I'm going to talk about them in this video, but basically two big issues with the Runestones. Number one, pricing is a little bit awkward and people end up with extra Runestones for various purchases. And number two, it seems like some things maybe just got strictly more expensive. So we'll break down both of those in this video. But first, I just wanted to showcase sort of the reaction among a lot of people, the community sentiment among Runestones. This is from Fatefire over on Reddit. He says, virtual currency makes me want to quit. I've been playing Hearthstone since right around the beginning and have spent way too much money on the game over the years, but now with them making a virtual currency and another season pass, I kind of feel like it's too much. Haven't we spent enough? Why do you need to hide the value of purchases behind a fake money? Am I being dramatic? Is this a hill I should maybe not try to die on? Well, that's up to each individual person whether or not this is a breaking point for them individually, but certainly Fatefire, I have to say you're not alone. I've heard lots of sentiments like this where it just feels like too much. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, do we really need this? That is absolutely the prevailing sentiment. Almost any problems aside, it almost just feels like Blizzard is throwing the player base under the bus in favor of their own interests, which is not a surprise necessarily. That's to be expected. Most of us saw this coming when Runestones were announced, but it's still worth noting that it sucks and it makes people feel exactly like this. And I have no doubt that in combination with the competitive advantages offered from the season pass and battlegrounds, this will end up driving a substantial number of people away from Hearthstone. But let's get into the nitty gritty here, some of the details for why Runestones suck so much so far. So to set this up, I thought it'd be helpful to read what Blizzard said about Runestones themselves. These are the expectations set, and then we're going to take a look at the reality and how maybe that's a little bit different from these expectations. It says, Runestone bundles are intended to match common pricing to avoid the extra Runestones problem. Pricing is trying to be clear, easy conversions based on US dollars. No product costs are changing in real life. The benefit of Runestones overall is they let us offer smaller products. And there are some parts of this that I think are fair. I want to acknowledge that I do think the conversions from Runestones to dollars is pretty clean and easy. It's basically 1,000 Runestones is $10. You're just dropping moving the decimal point a couple spots, right? It's very clean. There are other games where it's like 780 Runestones would be $10, and the math gets really obfuscated, and it's super hard to tell how much money you're spending. Hearthstone has avoided that so far, so that's actually one positive note in an otherwise list of a lot of negative stuff, but I thought it was fair to acknowledge that. The real issue starts at the beginning here where, although Runestone bundles may have intended to match common pricing, they certainly do not match all pricing, and they definitely don't match the pricing suggested in the second message here for the smaller products, as we're about to see some examples of. This is a tweet from It's Been a Great Battlegrounds Hearthstone creator you should check out, by the way. He makes really cool stuff, and he puts it pretty clearly. The cheapest Runestone bundle contains 500 Runestones. That's $5, but a single skin in Battlegrounds costs 150 Runestones. So if you want to evenly divide that, you can't. Buying 3 skins will cost you 450 Runestones, leaving you with 50 Runestones, or basically in that case 50 cents left over, where you have no way to spend it because of course nothing costs 50 cents in regards to Runestones. And remember, these cheaper options were touted as one of the benefits of Runestones. They wanted to be able to sell singular skins. So that happened. They are 150 Runestones. We couldn't buy $1.50 skins in the past, so that was achieved, but it comes at the cost of the first one. They don't match the common pricing. These were sort of offered as the two main benefits of Runestones, and they don't even work together. You can't buy the cheaper stuff in clean increments. So I have to ask, would it have really killed anybody to make the skins 100 Runestones, for instance, so that at the very least the minimum option divided cleanly and you could get 5 skins for 500 Runestones instead of 3 1/4 or 3 1/3 or whatever it is, right? Some really awkward math. The cheapest way to get enough runestones to cleanly divide into skins, as Jay Alexander here puts in another tweet, is to buy the 1500 runestone option, so that you can buy skins in increments of 10. 150 times 10, 1500 runestones, cleanly divisible. So that's the first point where it's easily divided there. But right now there are only 6 said skins for sale. So you may eventually be able to do that, to be fair, but for now you can't. So if you wanted to get a clean increment for 6 skins, which is all of them right now, you'd have to buy the 1000 runestone bundle, which would leave you with 100 runestones, which again, you have no way to use. So although, you know, this doesn't say that everything will match the runestone bundles, it does say common pricing. It certainly feels bad, to me at least, that the very thing they're citing as the reason for runestones does not match up with these bundle sizes, as Ben and Jay Alexander put pretty clearly here. You're left with these extra runestones, and the extra runestone problem pops up immediately upon the launch of runestones, even while looking at the benefit of runestones, supposedly. And it doesn't actually end there for awkward pricing. Look at this example, for instance. Novel Shelter on Reddit says, is this correct? You can no longer buy an arena ticket for $1.99, and instead you have to buy runestones? The cheapest runestone bundle is 500 for $5, leaving you with 100 runestones if you buy 2 tickets. Yet again, another example of unclean pricing. Yes, the price stayed the same, but there are no bundles to support these in an evenly divisible way. So why not sell a 600 runestone bundle for arena players and call it the arena bundle, right? Why not sell a 450 runestone bundle for battlegrounds players and call it the skin bundle, the triple skin bundle, right? There are so many ways to do this, by either lowering prices or by offering more bundle increments. I can't imagine why. I'm sure there's some reason they're going to cite why they can't offer either custom runestone amounts or some sort of leftover runestone conversion tool, or just bundles that fit every pricing bracket. Those are 3 solutions to solving the extra runestone problem, none of which currently exist. And yes, I'm sure again there will be reasons cited for those, but it sucks that they don't exist if those reasons can't be overcome. And I'll be honest, I don't think that many people are spending money on arena tickets, but Novel Shelter says, I know it was a waste of money, but sometimes I would buy an arena ticket if I was short on gold and needed to kill an hour at work or something. Now I will never buy it again. These predatory tactics leave a bad taste in my mouth. Again, both some practical implications here, but also some psychological ones. It's almost like it feels insulting to people, even if it's not always bad. In this case, it's both bad and feels insulting. So I understand the frustration, Novel Shelter. I too have actually purchased real arena runs back in my real life before I was a content creator, way early in Hearthstone. Sometimes I'd be like, well, if I'm gonna buy packs anyway, I should probably just pay for an arena run, because I used to be halfway decent at arena, and I would get, you know, more rewards effectively for the same amount of money by spending that money, because I didn't have a ton of excess gold back in the day. So I can see this actually being a real impact, and people having to spend both larger upfront amounts of money, but also having these leftover runestones that thereby sort of hold them hostage to potentially have to buy more runestones in order to feel good about their purchase, which is exactly what we all said is how these are typically used in a predatory way. They leave you leftover coins, runestones, golds, whatever they're called in other games, and then that really forces or encourages you very heavily to get your money's worth and buy additional stuff, and you get stuck in this treadmill where you're just always buying more runestone bundles because you have these leftover runestone bundles. Blizzard said that wouldn't happen. It's happening literally after one day. And I had one more example actually of this as well. I found this one. This is in Mercenary Shop. I had to go to the Mercenary Shop for the first time ever, maybe first time in a year practically, to see what was offered for mercenaries. This is a Cthulhu coins bundle that is 1,200 runestones. There is no, of course, 1,200 runestone bundle. There's 1,000. There's 1,500. If you buy this, you're going to be left over with some awkward runestone totals. Now that said, almost irrelevant to the runestones, this is $12 for 500 coins in mercenaries. If you don't remember what 500 coins in mercenaries do, I didn't either, I had to look it up, but one ability for one character takes 475 coins. Okay, So if you buy this, you're spending $12 on a single ability for a single character. Mercenaries pricing is absolutely insane. I've heard people say that you can do a lot free to play in Mercenaries, so that's cool. But man, does it suck to buy things in Mercenaries. Apparently, if you wanna spend money in Mercenaries, it must feel absolutely terrible. Now for two reasons: because it's outrageously expensive for coins that don't do all that much. You get an amount of coins perhaps which may not even be that clean either. If you need 475 to upgrade an ability, you have to buy 500. That in itself might feel awkward and weird. But also, you now have the extra runestone problem. You gotta buy 1,500 runestones in order to make this purchase, so you suddenly have 300 useless extra runestones laying around until you buy more. So this is like the triple threat of crap for making a mercenaries purchase. It's just awful. All right, so let's move over here to another weird issue that popped up. There are some really strange pricing brackets. Now, these can actually be sort of favorable to the end user, but it feels like a mistake, and I'm sure one that Blizzard will rectify lest they lose any money. In this case, this tweet comes from Soddle, famed Hearthstone caster, who's not shy about calling out Blizzard, that's certain. He says, pricing in UK currency is even more strange than the US versions. You save significant amounts of money by only buying in 500 runestone increments. As you can see, it's $3.99 in Great British pounds, I guess is what GBP stands for, but pounds regardless. And it's if you look at like 5,000 runestones, for instance, it's $44.99. So if you bought 10 of the 500 increments, you'd spend $39.99 as opposed to $44.99. So you'd save $5 or £5, excuse me, by buying it 10 times, which of course, again, goes in the face of Blizzard's promise here that the benefit of runestones is that they basically save on transaction fees for smaller purchases. This in fact is costing them far more in transaction fees on smaller purchases. I mean, these are not totally small, but still smaller, and I'm sure that will add up over time. Now, I'm certain this is just an oversight, a currency conversion oversight. I don't think this was like intended. I'm sure this will be changed to make more sense, but still really interesting. Soddle goes on to reiterate, of course, the extra runestones problem here. Individual skins in the store are 150 stones. 150 stones does not divide cleanly into either of the two cheapest purchase options, and so it begins. As we all feared, indeed, it begins. So this is another Fallout, and this one's a little bit harder for me to confirm. I can't totally promise the veracity of these claims, but there are some people claiming that things have gotten more expensive as a Fallout for runestones, especially in other currencies. And this was a tweet from Blizzard as well that says prices are not changing and runestone prices are based on US pricing. Prices should still be very clear. Again, I do think prices are pretty clear. That's one positive thing here. But as far as prices not changing, I'm hearing from people that they are. For instance, this is on Twitter from James Waz, who says, these prices are messed up. This used to cost $8.99 New Zealand dollars, assuming that's what that stands for. Now it's cost 1,000 runestones, which is $16.99. That's now $8 more for the same product. Could almost get a free one with the difference. So it sounds like something here might be out of whack in regards to currency conversions to runestones. It sounds like a lot of the math was sort of done for the US dollars and then maybe just kind of copy pasted and some things got lost in translation or in conversion. In this case, because while trying to keep like clean breakpoints for math of like 5 and 10, that just doesn't work well in other currencies. So it sounds like Blizzard may need to revisit some of this. Again, this one, if true, feels like it was probably a mistake more than sort of some intent to literally double the price. That doesn't really sound reasonable to me, but still seems like a fallout of some sort or another from runestones. And if nothing else, even if this person's wrong or like, got the math wrong or misremembered, whatever it is, because again, I can't confirm the veracity of this. I certainly do not know what Merc coin purses cost in New Zealand pre and post runestones. That's really hard data to find, so we got to take a little bit of trust here. But even if they got it wrong, the fact that mercenaries have completely upended the entire system, the fact that it's a little bit harder to tell what's going on in regards to pricing, all of that leads towards people looking for these sorts of problems and wondering and asking themselves, wait a minute, is this worth it? There's this whole psychological reset that happens where everybody starts questioning every purchase, and there's fallout there. Even if things don't actually change, still a lot of people are asking themselves, is it worth it? They're making these pricing decisions that are new and different, and suddenly we might just have a lot of people buying less stuff as a result of all of these changes, just being like, wait a minute, how much am I spending on this? This is stupid. I'm not buying Runestones, and then just peacing out, right? And on top of all this, I've also just seen some reports of people that occasionally Runestones aren't working. They're getting hung up in the shop. You buy Runestones, it's not processing, and then you maybe try to buy something else, not working. So again, kind of unconfirmed reports there, but sounds like there are some little technical hangups as well. On top of Battlegrounds has some pretty major disconnect issues coming in with this patch while trying to show off the season pass. So a few little hiccups there, bugs and stuff. You know, I hate harping on that. Nobody wants to see bugs. You know, those aren't intentional decisions being made, but still, you know, it feels bad when this new system is coming in asking of the players, and maybe it feels like the sort of content or at the very least the bugginess of the content isn't delivering. That can create a bit of a disconnect, a little dissonance there, where it's like, man, I'm spending money on all this stuff, but it's not working the way I want, which has certainly caused a lot of frustration among people. So all in all, this is kind of our first day with Runestones, and it's disappointing. Not a surprise. I made a video saying, man, I'm worried about a lot of this stuff. A lot of other people said the very same. So not a surprise, but I think we were hoping to be positively surprised, and instead just ended up where we thought we'd be, disappointed and unhappy with Runestones so far. So what could be changed to make these better? I mean, just give us cleanly divisible prices. I mean, can a skin really not cost 100 Runestones? Does it really need to be 150 Runestones? Like, it's basically a JPEG, as people put it. Like, yeah, of course more work goes into it than that, but can't it be 100 Runestones? Can you not sell a 450 Runestone bundle? Can you not sell, you know, a 600 Runestone bundle for arena players? Like, aren't there ways to clean this up and deliver on the suggestions, make it easy for people? For all I care, let's take Runestones out of the game. I don't need Runestones, right? Like, I didn't ask for Runestones, but even if you're using Runestones, there are still ways to improve this and make this system more amicable for everybody, basically. But yeah, just wanted to do a little recap. Just remind everybody, Runestones aren't great. In fact, Runestones suck. And if we can't get rid of them, hopefully we can see some changes that at least make life better for people who are buying and spending their Runestones. So that's it. What do you guys think? How do you feel about Runestones? What are your experiences? Do you have any frustrating moments you ran into? I want to hear all those thoughts and more down in the comments below. Thanks much, as always, for watching. And until next time, game on.